Welcome, and here we're looking at the US 30, and the wave 4 here is probably completed, but we just need to be a little bit mindful that wave 4s can become quite complicated and sideways in their pattern. So this particular the particular move down through here is an ABC. Has done all the right things, but just as I mentioned, until it really sort of pushes off and we can see a nice strong wave structure there, then we just need to be mindful that this, just on the 1 hour here, this particular 3-wave pattern here that's done all the right things could just be, well, we could put it like this here just to give you a bit of an idea, because wave 4s they can get out of hand a little bit. So it could be just the A wave to here and a B wave to here and a C wave to here. So there's no way of knowing that until we get a bit sort of closer to it. But if all goes according to plan here, as it has done, then we should see the 15,500 on this market hold, and we should see a move to the upside through there. So that's what we're looking at there, and that's the obviously a move under the 15,500 would put us in a different situation, and we would need to re-establish the larger wave count as a wave 4. So yeah, on the sort of intraday level with the US 30, just on a 2-minute chart here, just for day traders, you're looking for as always, the top of group 1 there, the 15,530 to become the retested resistance. And I kind of like the shape of this pattern here. We've got like a little A and a B and a C here. So it's likely that it can push higher from here. So that means we can go long on stock, and the S&P 500 is in the same boat as well. We could pretty much call this up here. I mean, I've counted this in a different degree of structure, but we'd be looking at the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave, and we can look at this being the wave 1 and wave 2 here if all goes according to plan. But as you can imagine, a move, well, technically this low here, the market can pull back to this sort of low here, but really we wanted to stay above the 1680, so a move under the 1680 would be negative. So what we're looking for next is a support on the 1690, so long trades sitting on that. Of course you can get in early, you're just faced with more exposure at that point. So the rest of the markets around the world should fall into place somewhat. The FTSE here, we're looking at a wave 4 here. This has been pretty complicated here, so we've just pretty much drawn a line in the sand at the 6600 here. So once we get support on the 6600, then we can push up from that point there. And the DAX is pretty much the same as well, with its little wave 4 coming back here. So we want support on the 8300 here for any long trades there. And as I mentioned, this reflects back into the into trading CFDs into these countries as well, and obviously the Forex as well. There's always a relationship there with their indices. The Australian market, look, it's as I mentioned before, the wave structure, there's parts of the wave structure in here that I understand, some that I don't. It's just a little bit sort of messy. So we just really fall back onto the working with the price, and with the price we just understand the price with the trading levels, and while the market's above the 5,000, well, we need to remain positive and look for that side of the market. And then edging up, we want the 5,030, the top of group 1. So that 5,030, I'd just like to drop that back into the 5,020 there. So as long as this market stays above this 5,020 there, then it's supported at that stage there. And if you are long, well then, or looking to get into here, then you'd need the next level, which is the midpoint, the 50 here as support. This reflects back into the September contract at 5,010, and yes, look, it's been a very a bit of a nightmare up through here, a bit messy, but the banks are still like edging higher. They're in a trend and they're trending up, and the metals market, the precious metals are really sort of holding their own in a way. The base metals are looking rather weak, but but that said, BHP in the US and Australia have been holding at their levels quite sort of nicely, but I do expect the copper market to weaken further. So let's have a look at those commodities. Okay, so starting with gold, and as you know, with gold we've got a couple of different counts sort of happening all over the place, really. So look, the best thing that I can sort of suggest is waiting for that top of Group 1, which is the 1,330, to become the retested support. So it's this support here. So currently we've got lower highs here, so it's got a bit of a bearish sort of bias, and this particular move down through here is in 5 waves, so we're calling it wave 1 or an A wave. Wave 2 or the B wave is going to be the same, and this move down through here, it still can be wave 3, but wave 3 would be just down here. It would be wave 1 and back for wave 2, and wave 3, 4 and 5 for wave 3, just a different structure. So, but at the same time, we can call it the wave C here as well. So it's possible to count it both ways. So just, I just think that we should stay flexible. The other thing too is that it will get leads from, it's leading with the indices somewhat as well. So it seems to be one of the driving points in it. So I'm just looking at it in this chart here. I'm just looking at it in a positive way, where we've got the A wave down, the B wave back up here, and the C wave here, and we're looking for support here. We don't quite have it yet, as you can see. It's tried to push up and come back, but it's found support here, pushed up again, and it hasn't quite found support here as well. So we just need to allow it to unfold. And I was counting this up here for wave 1 in terms of up for 1 here and back for 2, the 3, the 4 and the 5. It's a bit dodgy, but look, like I said, at the end of the day, it's a game of support and resistance and understanding when we have support, and that's what we're looking at. And if we do get support here, then we've got this whole pattern here to support that next trend up through there, if that's going to be the case. And we would be looking for a high above this high here, so we'd be looking to go above the midpoint there. So look, that's what we're looking at. If the 1320 here became the retested resistance, then we'll start looking at bearish trades then, and that's highly possible as well, especially when we look at silver. Silver's got more of a bearish pattern, but I want to go to the base metals here in the next step, because the base metals and obviously gold have got two different things going on at the moment, where they're normally reasonably correlated to a point, so from this high point up here, we've got a nice clear like wave 1 down, or A wave, but I'd say wave 1, wave 2 coming back up through there, nice wave 3 coming down. We're looking at a wave 4 here, a wave 4, the 38.2 retracement level from this high here to this low here comes in just above the 312 here. So I was looking at this. This does appear to be a corrective here in terms of an A and a B and the C wave here. So an A, I'm just calling all of an A, B, C here for the A wave, the B wave and the C wave here. So look, while it's above 310, then the market is positive. So just looking at US BHP here, the 65 here is the medium level through here. And I was looking at this in terms of a positive structure to the upside here. However, we're also looking for a wave 2 to move down as well, and I guess it has. It's starting to. This was a 61.8% relationship between this high here and this low here. So two good reasons for a consolidation here of some description. So look, I just think let's sort of allow that to sort of develop further. Even if it does push higher, then it's really just going to push higher, and then come back on us again as well. So a push up through here, and then back through here as such, and then we'd be looking for support on here. And look, this is the same with the Australian BHP too at $35, exactly the the same thing as well. So yeah, we'll see how we go with that, but we can expect more, more price activity around this particular level through here. Even if it does push up through here, we'll expect something, like this here. But the idea we've talked about being long from, way down here. So in terms of moving up through here, it could be a bit tricky if you're a bit close to the market. The oil market, let's have a look at that. Now, the oil follows stock, 80% of the time, and sometimes closer than others. But look, what we're looking for here is, we're counting this down here as 5 waves down for the A wave, the B wave here, and then another 5 waves down for the C wave here. So really, this is what we're sort of considering a low here. But of course, we want the closest, largest number, the 105, to become the support for that. So that's what we're waiting for here in this case. If it does move down here further, then we've actually got a larger bearish pattern unfolding at that time. So we need to be, let's just see if this holds here first. If this pushes up through here, then we'll start counting this up in a positive light. And the reason for that would be because we feel that that the indices wave 4 for the Dow and the S&P 500 are sort of in place. Well, very high probability. We just need to sort of get a bit of confirmation now. Yeah. Alrighty, let's have a look at FX. Okay, starting with the US dollar, just starting in the bigger picture here, just count this. So we've basically got wave 1 up here. So we're looking for an A and a B and a C back for wave 2. Now in this situation here, we were looking in this wave C here. We're looking for 5 waves: the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4 and the 5. So look, we could really have a low here, and if we've got a low here, then the high for the euro would be in place as well. And it does look like it's sort of moving off a little bit, but in looking at this last structure here, I think that there's just looking at the 5 wave structure in here, I think there's one more to go in here to the downside, and this is it here. So look, that possibly could be a low in here, alrighty, but just looking at this structure here, which is in 3 waves so far, but it's popped up quite nicely, but I'm just treating it as a wave 4, and if the 81.72 becomes the resistance, then we expect a move down to the 81.50, or even a bit further down. So just keep an eye on this. The time to turn bullish would be the 82 here. If the 82 becomes the support, so this structure here at the moment, this ABC here, I'll just draw this little ABC here, that could just be the A wave, and then we have the B wave, and then we have the C wave up in 5 waves. So we could get something like this. So even if we do get a spike up there, we still need to make sure that it's a retested resistance, which is a support. So it needs to check in here, it needs to really sort of have that as support. Then we'll go along from that point, because as you know, the first 10% in the trend and the last 10% is the most expensive, as the quote goes. So that said, looking at the euro here, the also looking for the A, the B and the C up here, and it does fit at the moment in terms of that we've got this in terms of the wave 1 here, the wave 2 here, and yesterday I had wave 3 here. If I just put this in here, put that away for a second, then that top's in play there at the moment. So just looking at this back here on the 1 hour chart, is that we've got wave 1 up here, wave 2 to here, and I've tried to pull this apart the best I can to get all the different structures in there, but still just a little bit sort of unsure about it. So but we've got wave 3, wave 4 and wave 5, so it is plausible that we can have a top in place on this one here actually. So yeah, but otherwise, if that's not the case, then we need to look at this here, any movement down here as the US dollar pushes up, any move down here as a possible wave 4. but also be mindful that it can be a wave 1 as well. Once it starts to develop itself, I'll be able to work out what it is and take it from that point there. So with that said, we can see that it's moved down, a bit sort of weakish here. So on an intraday level, then you can see that the supply is this is just in 20-minute chart here. You can see that the supply, the sellers are in this block here. So we would need that block to become support and not resistance. Otherwise, you're just facing too much exposure. So you really do need that. And as I mentioned before, the 272, which is stronger than the normal 72, same as 772. So, you really do need that on the side, on the positive side. Otherwise, it's bearish from here. If the midpoint here, 50, became the retested resistance, then look to short from that point there, because we would use this down here as an impulse wave, a corrective wave, and the time that if that does come down through here, it will bounce off there and then eventually work lower through here. So the short would come from here, the long would come from the support, tested support on the 13272 there. The Australian dollar, we're in this sort of massive fourth wave that's bouncing along the 90, and it is a bit sort of complicated. So I'm just going to drill into this 15-minute chart here, and in this 15-minute chart here, I think the important thing to do here is to stay with this particular trend here that we've got here in terms of down for 1 and back for 2. And then you can see that we've got this structure that's moving down through here in terms of the 1 and the 2, all the way down for the 3, the 4 and the 5 here. So basically the 1, 2, 3 here, looking for the fourth wave back, which can be that one just there, or it can get a bit more complicated. But once it's done and dusted, we should see a move down here further. So you would certainly need the 92 as the resistance, as a tested resistance, or you can just take out this low here, whatever that low there is. Then you can just take out that and then trade lower. But there's going to be a bounce off the 80, and there's going to be a bounce off the 90, so off the 72. So, but look, that is obviously trending down, and you need to work with that trend, but you do need that 92 as the resistance. And this is obviously following the copper market as well. So keep an eye on the copper market. We're expecting basically the same wave count in a way at the 310, a wave 4 there. So once that's complete and starts moving down with the other base metals, then this will obviously move down further as well. Alrighty, well that's it. The markets haven't really moved much. We can see that the banking sector is edging higher, taking the ASX 200 higher. The metals markets are gold is reasonably positive, but silver and the rest of the metals are on the weaker side there. So we're not really seeing the BHPs of the world push the market up, and it's best to have the resources and the finance moving together. So, but that's not quite the case. So it's a very sort of tricky move to the upside. So certainly don't overtrade, because any selling that comes in will see sharp moves to the downside. So you don't want to get caught out there. Alrighty, well that's it. So not much to report actually. Quiet markets, a bit of holiday in Europe. So yeah, alrighty. Well, good morning, good luck, and enjoy the day ahead.